segment 5. Segment 5, the expansion. This is the space that we stay in. This is the space that I've been in. This is the part that constantly evolves. This is like the guts of it. There's only one more segment left, which is the conclusion and the big picture of the 3D, 5D, and the whole quantum structure and how I sort of see it. But the expansion part, this section, this is the part that continues. This is the part that we constantly evolve through. And that's why the 3 different parts of this one is called creation, evolution, and connection. Because they're the 3 parts of our existence. They're the 3 parts for me that bring it all together, that allow me to exist and experience in this reality. So let's start with creation, which obviously is going to be my most favorite part. And what I mean by creation is the things that we create, the things that we express from ourselves and put them out there in the world. Now, in the last segment, we were talking about the desires and how they come from the root of our being and how they can surface from the deep, from the dark. And as we remove the layers, the shadows and the things that are hiding or covering some of those things that we really want to create, or those desires that we really have, it is through that process that allows the evolving of more creations to come through. So the way that I see it is not so much of, oh, you must create something in order to expand. It's using that desire, using that, what is it that I want to experience? What do I want to bring into my reality? What do I want to bring into my reality? What do I want to feel? How do I want things to look like around me? And it is through that, it is through feeling that, it is through deciding that this is something that I want, that you start moving towards a way to bring it to life. And I talk mostly about creating things in the online space because for me, it's offering different things. And it's not so much an, oh, I have a desire in helping people do this. That's also attached to other desires of, oh, I'd like a new car, I'd like a holiday, I'd like to have financial stability, I'd like to express my creativity with someone else. It covers many different desires through that. It's never just one thing. It's the same as if your desire was, I want to be on TV or I want to write a book. You make the steps towards that. You start creating things on the path towards that desire that you really have. And just because we're creating things doesn't mean that that's going to become the be all and end all. Doesn't mean that that thing that we are creating is an, oh, I listened to my deep, dark desires. I got this amazing idea. I went about it. I created it. Crickets. What? Hang on. I thought this was supposed to be the be all. I thought this was supposed to be the thing that puts me into a whole new realm and gives me the riches that I want and all those feelings that I'm trying to manifest. But all it is another step in your journey. Because if it was something like that, it is through the process of you creating that where a whole other world of things happen as well. Because when you're creating something new, and it depends on what it is and where you're at and what your beliefs are and how you feel and so many other things, there will be shadows that come up. There will be experiences that come up. There will be thoughts that happen. There will be so many other things that happen in that process that allow you to grow and expand even more into what your current awareness was. Not only is it if you are learning new, if you are expanding or branching out into a totally new space, there's that whole learning aspect. Coupled with that, there's a whole nother reality on the other side of that, in the way that people respond to that, in the way that maybe you get clients where you've never had clients before. Maybe you've got this whole new financial structure. You have to start operating as a business. And then coupled with that, not just the everyday 3D things, it's all the emotional stuff. There's all the feeling stuff that happens with that as well. So it is through that process that if you're here and you want to create this thing here, you are moving along this path, trying to get to that place. But because of you moving towards this thing, you are expanding your awareness, you're learning new things, you're experiencing new things, you are meeting new people, you're learning things about yourself and about others. You're learning about the things outside of you and how they work and how they don't work. You are letting go of things. You are releasing things. You are questioning your beliefs and the things that you want and the things that you already have in your reality around you, all on the way towards this thing. So it's never just you deciding you want to create this thing and I want to be over here because I want all this magical stuff. It's through that process of deciding and feeling and knowing whatever this desire was, allowing it to make its way through to give you all these other things. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. And that's why I say it's a lot easier now for me to go after something I want to create than sit here and think, I think I have money beliefs I need to release. Let me look at that. Like, which one's going to be more fun? You creating something is not just going to open up maybe just money beliefs if you have them. It'll open up a whole world of things that you may not have been ready to look at. And depending on what your beliefs are, if you are knowing that experience, that part of you, listening to the part of you that knows you the most because it's in the depths of who you are, it's your deepest, darkest desires. If you can trust in knowing that that's exactly what you need to do and exactly what you need to move forward with, then you know that's going to be the most powerful and potent move you can make right now. So when I say create things, it's not just, oh yeah, let's just paint something because it feels good and we can pretend we're meditating or something. There's a whole process around that. There's so many other benefits and layers to the creation process that you don't even realize. It's better than trying to decide, oh, I think I need to go get therapy. No, I'm going to go create something that I really want and see what surfaces. Sure, go get therapy if you need along that journey, but it's going to give you so much more in making that decision and start making those moves towards those things you want to create. This is why I'm so passionate about it. It's like the only thing you need. Everything else branches off it. And it doesn't just have to be in the creation space. It can be, okay, maybe I want to get fit and healthy. Okay, well, what's my desire? Okay, I want to look good. Okay, why? Why do I want to look good? Of course, you want to look at that and make sure there weren't any beliefs, stories, and collective ideas attached to that. But if this was purely for your health and it was, I can eat better, I can do more exercise, I'm feeling a bit lethargy. Once you start feeling into that and going, okay, I'm going to do something. What am I going to start with? And that can sometimes be the hard thing. Where do I start? This is where you need to trust your intuition. This is where you need to trust whatever that next move is. Even if it is the wrong one, you will be re-guided along the way. So if you had a body desire of looking a different way or feeling a different way or moving towards a healthier version of you, what's the first thing I can do right now? Oh, I might research fitness ideas. I might look up gyms. I might look up food. I might suddenly see this video pop up in my TikTok feed. I might meet someone down at the shops who's a fitness guru or is a personal trainer or something. It's opening ourselves up towards that desire and allowing it to create. And eventually it'll just start evolving into something else. Like that's with me. It started with all I had was, okay, you need to walk every single day for at least 20 minutes. No more, no less, 20 minutes. Once a day, every day. And I did. And I committed to that even through the rain. I did that for 3 weeks because for me, 3 weeks is the locking into something new. And I did that. And so many things happened on the other end of that were like, and it wasn't just about doing the exercise. It was about learning about committing to something for 21 days, something that I'd never been able to do for so long. It was about the way it was making me feel, the way it was making me choose different eating choices, the way it led me into joining the gym, the way it sort of expanded into the family where we all now go to the gym and we all exercise every day and we all eat better. It just grew from that original thought of, yeah, I wanna feel better about myself. I wanna look better. Actually, it stemmed from something else. That's another story for in my second book. But that's all it takes. It takes that original desire, that original movement towards whatever that thing is that you want to create. And so much more expands from it. But it is through that creation is where we can expand. And so whilst we know then this creation is part of us evolving into different versions of us, this is the second part of the segment, which is evolution or evolving. It's how we move through that and how we change and how we expand through that. Because we're constantly evolving, whether we want to or not, we are constantly changing and expanding and growing, even if we're exactly the same, even if we're still doing exactly the same thing every single day, we're still learning something new, we're experiencing something new, whether we're purposely doing it or not. The outside world is changing, the people in our life are changing. Maybe the things we enjoy on TV, the things we do in our extracurricular, that's changing. The roads are changing, the environment's changing. There's so many things that are changing, even if we're rock solid in where we are right now. But because we're on this creation journey, we're listening to our deep down desires and we're moving through that. We are evolving at an even more rapid rate, which means that we are constantly expanding within ourselves, which then extends out to everything around us. When we're changing the way that we're feeling, when we're changing our own vibration, when we're changing our own goals and changing our experiences and the environment around us, there's going to be ripple effects to everything else that is attached or within our vicinity of the world around us. If I decide to start eating healthy, well, then that's going to ripple out through the house because this is what I'm cooking. So even something as obvious as that, as well as just learning and expanding into new knowledges and new awarenesses, which alter our vibrational frequency because we're believing in different things and maybe we're doing different modalities or tapping into different ideas and our vibration is changing, that's rippling out as well. If we're doing things that are increasing our vibration and if they are from our truest desires and we are moving towards the things we want and we are moving through those beliefs and those shadows that come up, we can only expand and increase in vibration. And when we do, that increases and changes the environment around us. Ooh. Okay, I felt that as I spoke. But this is what happens. See, this is oh, when you get to certain levels of different energies, you feel them a lot. And okay, at least you get to witness that. But that's what happens. See, my energy, my vibrational frequency then extends out to everyone around me. It's just like when you're in a happy mood, it's contagious, or when you're in a sad mood, how it sort of brings the room down. It's the same thing. It's that high frequency of who you are as you are constantly evolving and changing, which is allowing everything else to change around you. So if you were in experiences or situations or things that were happening around you when you were vibrating at a certain level, maybe they're lower things, maybe they weren't fun things, maybe they were experiences that were not the best, they will start to vibrate out. Just think of your energy moving like this and it's literally shaking off the debris. Not saying that everything around you is bad and that these aren't all good for you. It's just as you vibrate higher, it's like, okay, maybe you had this thing here or this experience or situation. You're more sort of up here now, and it's not hierarchy. There's no hierarchy levels in it. It's just for explanation. It's expansion. So you're on a different level now. You're in a different place. So you attach to different things. That thing down here doesn't attach to you anymore. It's not part of your reality. And this is when things fall away. And you hear this a lot about people fall away, experiences fall away, physical things fall away. You change physically because even our body is constantly changing. It's constantly regenerating and becoming new. So everything else is going to be as well. And then if we know we have that power, we know that it is a constant and it is a given, why can't we make it the most best thing we can? If we know that we are constantly changing, that everything is constantly expanding, then if we are thinking or trying to become or believe or sit in or feel or know whatever the highest thought or idea or feeling is that we can have, if we keep striving for that, isn't that just going to expand us and bring our awareness into such a more high vibe state, which is then going to allow those more enjoyable experiences and all those things we actually want to bring into our world closer to us because we're at that state, we're at that place where we really want those things. And I'm not going to say that it just, we go from feeling to yay and instantly everything comes. Trust me, it does not happen like that. It's this constant ebb and flow between I'm here, I want to be here, let's move towards this thing. Oh, we get a little bit, okay, we come back again. Oh, we got to work through this, okay, we come back. And we just constantly ebb and flow, but it just gets greater and greater and better and better and better and better. It can't get any worse, even though in some moments you may feel like it can, you cannot. It can't get worse because you don't attach and you don't have those experiences anymore. But the other part of that is your thought process and the way you think and the way you attach to experiences change as well. So even when you are in a lower vibrational state, if there is a situation and you would react in a certain way, once you've started shedding some of those layers, maybe you're faced with that same situation, you won't look at it the same. You won't feel the same. You'll be in a different state of mind where you will see it in different light. You will experience it in different light. It won't be the same as it was because you've grown, you've changed, you've expanded, you've evolved. And that's where the difference comes. That's where part of the everything else becomes easy journey begins, is because of your mindset change, because of your vibrational change, because of your thought change. When you start to realize of how little important some of these things actually are, versus when you're deep in the thick of it and you are holding on to a lot of beliefs and you are in a very negative state, everything sucks and everything looks so much more worse than what it actually could be. But it's part of that evolution. It's part of that constant changing. It's part of that constantly growing. And the best way I find, because eventually you get to a stage where you think you know it all, and you will never know it all. I'm at the stage where I know enough about most things that I get the gist of it. So now, if I'm interested in learning more about a particular topic, an idea, a story, a historical fact, a modality, whatever it is, I can dive right in. But the thing is, I won't attach to it. Before, when I was learning things, it was, oh, tell me all about this. Okay, now I fully believe that. Okay, now I'm going to experience it. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to share it. I'm going to do it. This is the be all and everything because this person told me, or this is the historical facts, or whatever, whatever, whatever. Versus now, where I can hear a story and I can feel what that story means, what the essence is, what the teachings are, what the learnings from it, the way it'll expand me or open my ideas. I don't need to attach to it and go, oh my God, that is truth. I need to start telling everyone. Instead, I can just listen to it and learn and be open to it. And I can do that with all topics now. There may be some things I will learn and I will hear and I go, okay, I want to try that. Maybe let's try that. Let's do that. Let's listen to that. Let's try being that for a little bit. Let's go on that. So it's actually really fun because you get to enjoy and experience. And for me, it's a lot of chopping and changing, which many people tell you that, no, that's wrong. That's who I am. It's all about that experience. But then on the other side of that, I've grown from that. I've learned from that. If it's something that I do for 1 minute or something that I do for 100 years, it doesn't matter. It's just little pieces of me that I can pull up and pull back and release and share and not share and hold on to and reject and talk about. It doesn't matter. It's all part of that experience. But I'm being open to it. I'm taking in the knowledge. I'm listening to it, being open to it, not attaching to it, and allowing it to give me whatever I need in that moment in order for me to progress and move forward. I see so many people attach themselves to ideas for so long, it doesn't allow you enough space for growth. That's how I see it. I see that when we attach to one idea or one thought or one belief, that's it. We can't go anywhere with that. Yes, we can solidify that, we can deepen that, we can build more of our own story around it, but we can't expand. And I think our whole existence, part of our whole existence is expanding into the newness and expanding into a whole new realm of possibilities and endless ideas and thoughts. So for me, just listening, learning, taking it on board, absorbing it, releasing it is so much more expansive than getting one idea, holding in it, sitting in it, and believing that's all there is. You look at anyone, any topic, any idea, any thought, there is more than one opinion. So if that then is a truth, well, then can't the truth possibly be that there is more than one viewpoint? But everyone has their own, which means I can make up my own. You can make up your own. And yes, even if you are someone who does sit in that one idea and one thought, that can still be your viewpoint. But for me, and what I think is the most expansive, is being open to the possibility of others. Doesn't mean you need to take them on, just knowing and being open to the idea and knowing that they exist. So then once you're using that creativity to move you through things, you're evolving, you're listening, you're learning, you're expanding, you can start to look at things and in a way that works for you. You can create your own reality. You can create your own idea of what things look like, how they feel like, how they work. And for me, it's probably over a year ago now where it was this whole luminescent code idea of the way that a universal structure was built up on these codes, and they were shown to me as these luminescent colors, these luminescent threads, which sort of floated through. This is the vision that I had, floated through this space and time where you could see them attach and detach and swirl and move around and constantly changing. Nothing was fixed or staying in that one spot because we're constantly moving. Everything around us is constantly expanding and growing and changing. But it was the idea of these luminescent codes and the way that they were in color and the whole way we can parallel that color or tone or shade of color to a level of belief or understanding or awareness. It's like saying, I like pens versus I like blue pens. I like blue pens made with ink. They're three different levels of the way that you like a pen. So if that was represented as a colored code, for instance, there are three different shades of blue. Just like if you're creating a design or you're using Canva or something, you know how all those color codes have so many different color codes, and it's just merely changing a letter or a number that changes the shade of that color. So that's how I started to see our existence from a really zoomed out view of the whole universe and all of us within it as these luminescent codes. So I was then able to sort of see them and feel them and bring them in and understand, okay, if I have this shade of blue and this shade of pink and this shade of yellow, when I am expressing those in my way, in my own shade, they are attracting the other people to me that match those codes. And we're millions and billions of these codes. So when we make friends with people, when we get into relationships, when we create business connections or get new clients, they're attaching to some of those color codes. Some may be just a few in one area, some may be a lot. That's like when you meet people for the first time, you're like, oh my goodness, you like the same music as me. Oh my goodness, you like wearing the same clothes. Oh, the same car. You might have these different things. Later on, it's, oh, you have the same thoughts that I have on this topic. And there's these different pieces where you connect. And the more connections you have, the more you resonate with that person, the more stronger that connection is. But for me, I created it in my mind as this luminescence. And it was because coming from seeing everyone talking about the light and being in this oneness, that didn't really resonate with me. And then going to the dark and being the opposite of the light, that resonated as well, but not all of it, because I wanted to find a way to bring them both together. For me, it wasn't this way or this way. It was a combination of both. So how do I do that if that doesn't exist? I couldn't find anyone else who was talking about it like that. So I created it myself. So that's how the luminescence, it brings in both. It's still representing us as light and us being the being of this oneness and this whole existence within whatever it is we're perceiving it as. But seeing it as those codes and tones and frequency and knowing that there's different levels of them, there's different layers of them, there's different depths and truths, and everyone's is constantly changing. So through that creation process, through that evolution process, my luminescent codes are constantly changing. And this is what I try to express when I am in that creation process. So right now, as I'm speaking to you, I've created this foundation series on segments. This is a creation process for me. This is me being at a certain color shade in many different areas where I felt that I wanted to express this part of me, so that it connects with other people who connect to different codes that I am expressing right now. In 5 years' time, someone else may resonate with this video, but I may be in a different place. I may be talking about something else. I may be doing something totally different. But in this moment right now, while I am speaking about this to you, that will connect to someone else. That will connect to someone who resonates with my luminescent codes right now. And yes, it can still happen in the future, it can still happen further on, but I won't resonate with it. But what happens then is when that person finds you from the past and connects with that, they'll come and see you where you are now, and you may bring them into a whole new awareness just because of the way that I spoke now, which is helping them expand and evolve and move through their whole creation process. So it's like this whole little journey of through this whole expression. This is why this is where I sit in. This is where I exist the most in, is through that creation process, through that evolution process, through the understanding of the connection and the way in which I can make it my own to express and magnetize who I am in that moment, to allow the people to find me. And this is the core essence of my business. This is the way that I want people to express themselves in the marketing arena, which I know no one believes in. They say it to a certain extent, but there's not many people who believe in that. So it takes more than one person to start building this idea and start creating this collective belief so that more and more people can just sit in their own authenticity and not have to worry about what time to post and how many posts a day and using the right hashtags. Just saying, okay, we live in a digital world. This is who I am, this is what I do, and this is what I'm sharing with you right now. That's all we should have to do. So it's through this awareness, this is where I am right now, and this is what I'm sharing with you, in order to facilitate and allow that to grow more within my experience and my reality around me. Because I don't think any of this is a straight journey. None of this is, I'm here, I'm going to be there, and I'm just making all these steps to go there. Yes, I'm here and I want to be there, and I'll start traveling along this journey. But it is going to be this weird and wonderful, I'm here, whoop, now I'm over here, now I'm over here, now I'm here. And it was through that whole vision of the luminescent codes where I was able to see that and feel that, because you would be here, then you'd be over here, then you'd be over here, then you'd be over here, which makes no logical sense for this human. This human's like, what are you doing? It makes no sense. You were still expanding. You were still traveling along that road. You're still moving on that journey. You're still moving towards that thing that you want. It's just not in the way that we've been led to believe. And once you can be open to that as well, you'll start to release a lot of those judgments towards those decisions that you were making and allow those full intuitive thoughts to come in to constantly guide you and lead you towards that creation and evolution process. And this is a constant journey. This is the journey that I will stay in, and probably until who knows where the end is. Once you know what it is for you, what it feels like and looks like for you, it becomes a lot easier. It becomes more of just another experience instead of a place for you to judge and decide, this is really good, this is really bad. Instead, it's, what adventure are we going on today? Where are we expanding? What are we creating? And it's through that that allows us to have those connections that make it all worthwhile. Now, if you've been watching the series, the next one is the last segment where we kind of wrap up all those little pieces that I've spoken about together. So stay tuned for that one.